Hey, this is Jen. I hope everybody's good. Thank you for being here. Welcome if you're new. Welcome back if you're not new. I'm here with an energy update of what's going on in the collective and what's going on with the Twin Flames. I know that lately there is a lot of talks about the Twin Flames and the new relationship paradigms, and I did notice a lot of new channels I've never seen before on YouTube. Um, so here's my take on what's going on in the energies. I am not an astrologer, but I do talk about the full moons and the new moons because a lot of our emotions and the way we feel is related to the moon cycle. Um, I am an intuitive. I am a very extremely sensitive empath, hypersensitive. And being this way created a lot of problems for me in my life because I didn't know. I had no idea. I kind of knew, but I had no idea that I was that intuitive in life. I didn't know that I could feel other people's emotions through being an empath, and I didn't know I could feel someone's energy at a distance until I started looking at it much deeper and started understanding that these things were real, these things were playing out in my life, always been and always will be. And it's like that for everyone. It's not because someone is more sensitive that it's only reserved to them. It's the opposite, actually. Well, not the opposite, but everybody is influenced by energies, internal energies, external energies, the dialogue we have inside, the dialogue we have with ourselves, and whatever is happening in our lives and external from us. It does have an influence, and it's been proven with science that there's a ripple effect happening in the universe in a way where if we split a cell or an atom, the two parts will keep on feeling each other even at a distance. Why am I talking about this? Because we are about to have this full moon in a couple of days on April 19th, and this will change the game in a drastic way. Not the first time I say things like that, but it's always in constant movement and progress because it's life and it's part of being a human being. I was talking about the ripple effect because if you're a twin flame, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you're not, well, why am I talking about this is for a simple reason of we need to be more self-aware of ourselves, of our own energies, of what we put out there, on how we present ourselves. And I don't mean physically, I mean energetically. If you try to hide your emotions and your feelings behind words that are not matching your energy, the time where people didn't see it or didn't realize that that's what you were doing are gone. It's a known fact that human beings tend to project an image of themselves that they're not really. They project something that they don't, that they wish to be. Um, there's always a gap between who we are internally and what we project externally. When someone is totally aligned, there is no gap, or the gap is much smaller. This full moon will take away the space for this gap to exist. So we will be forced, we will be supported, whichever way you want to see it. We will be supported into changing and becoming even more authentic, even more sensitive, even more aware of what's going on inside of us with our thoughts, our feelings, and to do something about it. This has been a problem for the twin flames, especially for the one that's been deflecting and trying to run away and hide from this connection. They were unable to deal with that gap, unable to understand that the image they were projecting is not who they are. And they had a problem with dealing with who they really are inside. They had a problem with dealing with the image that the mirror was reflecting back to them. That time is over. There is no more space to pretend not to see it, to pretend to be someone that we are not. And you can test this by just, for example, having not so kind thoughts towards something, and you're going to see what's going to happen. Something will happen instantly to try to bring you back into alignment, in alignment with your heart. There is no more space to be aligned with our mind or our ego. Of course, there will always be people trying to be this way, and it's not going to work out. So for the past few weeks, even months, we've been feeling that resistance from the collective. People being unable to surrender, not knowing how to surrender, not wanting to surrender. And we've reached that point where everybody is making a choice or has to make a choice. Am I choosing to be aligned with my heart or my mind? Am I choosing to be authentic or to keep on projecting that image of someone that is not me? And if you are in contact or if you have people aligning with their mind in your surroundings, you're going to see that a natural distance will start to happen between you and these people if you are aligned with your heart. Because a lot of people, light workers, chose to align with their heart. And it's becoming harder and harder to be around people that are not on that same wave. We can try to help them, but we cannot force change on them. We cannot force our perception on these people, and if they choose to resist, the best thing to do is to surrender and walk away, especially if you are in a twin flame connection. Because if you feel resistant from your twin, creating more is obviously not the answer. Walking away and surrendering to what is the best choice to take or to make. As you go on and work on yourself, it's going to have a ripple effect on your twin. And this has been proven. I'm not talking about proven with the twin flame, but through science, they were able to prove that the ripple effect is totally real. If they split a cell or an atom and they separate them, it's been proven that both parts keep on feeling one another no matter what the distance is. And that's the theory behind the twin flame. Twin flames always feel each other, even if one of them is pretending that they don't. They do. They may be not as aware, but they do feel it. And now that time for the divine masculine, that time of deflecting and pretending that they don't feel it is over. A lot of divine masculine know about the twin flame connection. They are educating themselves. They are looking at videos, articles, and researching the subject, while others are just starting and just trying to figure out who they are really. And in either case, the best thing to do is to surrender to the process and to focus on being aligned in our heart. This full moon is a game changer in the sense that anything that doesn't belong in our lives is going to go away, is going to fall away, is going to be taken away. So choosing to resist those changes is only going to create more resistance, hardship, pain, frustration, and anger. So if you are feeling a lot of anger lately, because I know that there is a lot of anger in the collective and that's where it's coming from. If we try to attract or embody something new or embrace or welcome and change in our lives, but we haven't let go of the old stuff, it creates pressure, it creates resistance, and it's harder to integrate that change. Instead of letting go, even if it hurts, instead of letting go and just accepting that there will be a little phase where things seems boring or empty or you feel lost, and allowing yourself to go through that phase of being, I don't know what I want, I'm not sure where I'm going, until that new change comes, that's much easier to do. That's the path of least resistance. So there is a very big wave of resistance in the collective. People are at the end of their ropes, basically. They are feeling that change coming, that pressure coming in their lives, and they're not really comfortable into letting go the old stuff. And that's understandable because it's not something easy to do, but that's also the point of life, the point of being a light worker, the point of bringing light into this world, of bringing more consciousness into this world, a deeper level of consciousness into this world. It's about letting go. It's about not resisting and accepting instead. Accepting that we are losing something, accepting that a person or a job or a habit may not be for our highest good, and accepting that we need to let it go so that we can replace it with something much better and much more aligned with ourselves. So again, that relates to the gap I was talking about of who we are inside and who we project outside of us, the image that we project outside. That gap is decreasing. There is no more space to be entertaining that gap anymore. As if the universe won't allow that any longer and is supporting us into being aligned and 100% authentic. Even if at times it seems impossible or harder to do, because yes, at times it is hard to stay authentic because we are challenged into our beliefs, we are challenged into our faith, our trust, our stories, our personal stories. But guess what? This is self-mastery, and knowing how to stand in our faith, in our truth, through adversity from the outside is a real beautiful sign of self-mastery. This full moon will bring another layer of self-mastery, of us having to find that alignment within to be sturdy no matter what the storm is bringing. Even if it's not easy. At times it could be very complicated or difficult because we don't always have clarity when we're being challenged from things outside of us. Our ego tends to take the driver's seat. Our ego is trying most of the time to defend or be on the defensive, and that can create a lot of tensions, misunderstanding, and situations that we don't want to be in. As opposed to being aligned with our heart, where it's easier to speak our truth in a matter where we gain respect because we respect ourselves first. When we come from our ego, most of the time, the item that is missing in the equation is respect for ourselves and self-love. Therefore, as we project that outside of ourselves, the other person consciously or subconsciously will react to that, will react to this form of attack, and will most probably respond back with the same level of ego. And that's where things don't work. That's where our communication doesn't work. All of this will slowly start to change and stop and completely transform into a better communication. But it starts with you first. It starts with your inner dialogue. It starts with the way you express yourself and your intentions behind. So it's as if with this full moon, as if we're taking all the lessons and all the stuff that we learned in the past year and we all put it all together to make the puzzle, complete the puzzle, and now we have to dance with it. We have to act on it. We have to embody that 100% of the time. It always starts with us, no matter what we do, the intentions that we have, the self-care that we have. So for the next couple of days, more or less, it is important to care for us. It's a new beginning. It's a new phase starting that will bring us into summer soon and eclipse season once more to bring even more changes. So if we don't do these changes as they show up, they accumulate and they become a lot harder to do along the way. Even if we don't complete one change 100%, making one step in the right direction is all that matters. Having the intention is good, but making one step is what matters really. So this full moon is going to change everything. It's going to, I feel like I want to say break everything. Break everything that no longer belongs. Break everything that is no longer aligned with these new energies that we're in. These new, more positive and higher vibrations that we're in. The past is the past. And it's going to stay there, and that time will never come back. It will never come back. So if you haven't reached forgiveness with someone or a situation, it's a must. It is really the time to do it. There is no use, no good excuse to keep the anger alive and to feed that anger. There is no good reason to feed that anger. And a lot of resistance from the collective is rooted in anger. People being unable to just let go and just forgive. And a lot of people who have been able to forgive and move on, they feel that resistance, and it's really hard to not go back to these old patterns of being angry. As a whole, humanity has to work together. And a lot of people they have a hard time seeing that, but they will with this full moon, because there's no more time. There's no more space to keep doing the same old things and expecting different results. That's the definition of being crazy. So it's time to try something new, to start something new that is more aligned. So if there is any anger, resistance in your energy field, emotional field, in your body, really, now is the best time to take a look at it and release it. Totally, completely, 100% release it. Completely. Through forgiveness. Through self-love and accepting that it is what it is. Accepting that the past cannot be changed. Doing a meditation and seeing a different outcome for a situation that created a lot of anger or pain is a good way to heal. It works fairly quickly for a lot of people, and for other people it takes more time, but it's really a good way, just seeing a different angle, a different ending to this situation. It's sometimes enough to liberate yourself from this. Karma has been at play lately, and we've been in just weird energies for the past few weeks, couple months, and we're about to get out of that and feel more free, feel more empowered, for those who have done the work. It doesn't come magically. So really, it's a time to understand how powerful we are as human beings and how powerful we are as spiritual beings, and to balance the two, not be always all the time on the spiritual side, and on the opposite side, not always being in the physical side, but joining the two together and learning how to use these two systems or tools together to be a balanced human being. For too long, spirituality was put aside. Anything esoteric or psychic was disregarded as being not real or bad. Well, it is not bad. Everybody has spiritual gifts, psychic powers. We all have it, all. Each time that you see a vision behind your eyes or in your mind, that's being clairvoyant. Each time you hear something that is not coming from outside of you, each time you feel something, that's being a spiritual being and having spiritual gifts. Some are clairvoyant, some are clairaudient, and we all have them. It's only a matter of paying attention to those images, those things that we hear. And for a lot of people, this feels like distraction. It feels like, you're focused on something and all of a sudden you see an image or you hear something or you feel something and you start seeing like a situation that you will, if you only pay attention to it, you'll realize that that situation you're seeing is most probably something that will happen 2 or 3 weeks from now. Maybe longer than that, it depends, but we're just not educated on following these signs. And that's true internal guidance. That feeling that we have right between the solar plexus and the heart. This is where our spiritual GPS is. This is where our body has the most powerful neuron, more powerful than the ones we have in the brain. This is where it all happens. So keeping that area, that space completely opened and ready to receive is how to follow your internal guidance. So if you're lost and you don't know how, you can start today. Just pay attention to what's happening inside of you. And if you feel that there is resistance, if you feel that there is conflict inside of you, try to figure out where it's coming from. If you need to forgive something or someone. And if it's not coming from you, because yes, that can happen, you can be sensing something outside of you, creating those tensions inside. Bless these people, bless this situation. That's how you get free from them. That's how you transmute and transform them into something positive. Wish them good, wish them love, wish them clarity, wish them luck. I know it's not always easy to do, but it feels so great that I really invite everyone to try it. Blessing a person or a situation that is creating conflict, pain, tension, anger, anything on the negative side, just trying it and you'll see it's instant. We feel a shift happening inside when we do this. And the more we do it, the easier it gets. And this is how we free ourselves. This is how we heal. And we can even go even further by saying sentences or phrases that sounds like I liberate myself, my energy field, emotional field, from anything that is other than love and light, from anything that is creating tension and anger inside of me. I bless this situation and these people. I wish them love and I hope that they find their clarity. and that they find their path through authenticity and enlightenment. I thank them for showing me the lessons I needed to learn. And I hope they learned their lessons as well along the way. Something like that. If we're able to change our thoughts towards a painful situation or a person who has hurt us, this is how we use alchemy to transform and heal. There's no need for huge energetic treatments. No, we have it all inside through the power of our words, through the power of our hearts, and those neurons that we have in our body, and really activating those neurons and aligning to them. Especially meditation, it's even more powerful, but we can do it at any minute of the day, even when we're active during the day, having those intentions and connecting to that space when we speak, when we do something, when we cook, when whatever we do. This is the way to live, not with our mind. So if you're feeling that you're stuck in your mind or you're being pulled up in your mind, there's something blocked inside of you. And yes, it can come from an external source, and you need to figure it out to try to transform it. Perhaps one of your chakras is not functioning right. Yet again, our energy field has been expanded, and we all have the ability to connect to the universe. It's not true that it's reserved only for some people. We all have it inside. And this full moon is all about realizing that we have these powers, knowing how to work with them, and working with them. Not letting ourselves being put down or dragged down into the negative or the dark side. I know it's hard and it's easy to say, but not easy to do. But it's very possible to do. Very extremely possible to do. As far as the twin flames, the divine masculine, I want to say poor them, because a lot of them are going through hell right now, losing a lot of things that they were hanging on to. The end of the karmic situations, I believe I was speaking about that in my last video, is in full blown action right now, and a lot of things are happening and switching around and transforming and changing for the divine masculine, and a lot of them are not understanding what is happening. A lot of them are understanding and are surrendering through the process, thinking, oh, this is what it feels like to really heal. They have reached that level of understanding and self-awareness where they no longer want to repeat the past or the cycles of the past. And if you've met your twin and you've been rejected, or you're not in contact with your twin, trust me that they are thinking about that right now and realizing a lot of things that perhaps you were telling them a few years ago, a few months ago, and that they automatically rejected. They are now seeing these things a lot differently. A lot of them who were the masters at resisting are no longer able to resist and are just going with the flow, letting these things shed from their lives. So a lot of ripple effect have been felt lately of, oh my God, I am suffocating. I feel like I'm dying inside. I feel like my life is over. I feel like I don't know how to get out of this dark energy. I feel I'm no longer the same person. I feel not new yet and not completely done with releasing the past. But one thing is for sure is that I want to move forward. So a lot of that has been going on lately. And this full moon is going to support that into releasing all those karmic stuff, situation, people, and old energies, to leave the past in the past. It is done. And to just embody a more relaxed energy of let's go with the flow, because that's the only way to truly be happy in life. Being flexible, being resilient, and accepting that we don't control shit. We don't control anything aside from our own self mastery, self awareness, and self care. So, for the divine masculine, it's another layer of that understanding, of that alignment with themselves. Now that a lot of them have found who they really are inside, they are able to now more uh, operate from that level more. And for others, it's about understanding who they are. They are just about to uh, go into that deep space inside to figure out what is making me unhappy in my life, in myself. What do I need to change? What do I need to do? And how do I go about this? Yet again, for a lot of divine masculine, they just don't know how to do these things because it's not really like second nature to them, as opposed to the divine feminine where it's more easier for them. And that's generally, it's not the same for everyone, but for a lot of divine masculine, they just don't know how to go about things really. And that's why a lot of them are educating themselves and trying to find answers and solutions to pursue their path. Because a lot of them have made the choice to live their best lives, and they understand what is going on. They know exactly what's going on, actually. They know that they're losing things and things are just moving around, and they're just letting it happen in surrender. And for others, there's resistance, and that's where the problem is, because it can be felt in the collective. So really, at this point, and until this new moon, this full moon has passed, being in surrender and just accepting that it may feel like it's slow right now, it may feel like it's really boring right now, but something big is happening, something big is in the works behind the scene, something unheard of, something so totally new that will be revealed and that will make so much sense for you. And you're going to be like, oh, this is why I had to go through this. This is why. So each time there is a challenge showing up in your life, instead of trying to resist, instead of trying to fight it, instead of trying to complain about it, using our self-mastery and being aligned and saying, okay, this is what my problem is. I don't know how I'm going to get through it, but I'm going to get through it. And just allowing the universe to guide you through that journey and that process. This is how it works. We only have to listen and to align. And sometimes it doesn't make sense. We're like, oh, I don't understand why I have to do this way. And then we get the answer like years later, months later. That's sign of trust and faith. And the more trust and faith we have in the universe, the easier the clues and the signs and the synchronicities are. And talking about synchronicities, I know that for a lot of people, the 1111, 111 has become more present. And that's always a sign of spiritual growth, awakening, and basically ascension, spiritual ascension in progress, and going in the right direction, whether it's for you or your twin flame. And the dream space has been also very active lately in the past few months, I would say, since the beginning of the year in January. And if you pay attention to your dreams, or if you are a lucid dreamer, or if you remember your dreams, the signs that were received in your dream space are about to come through physically. They are about to come real physically. So if you had dreams about your twin flames receiving clues, pay attention to that. In the upcoming months, you should start seeing physical signs of this happening. Same for the divine masculine. they've been receiving a lot of information in their dreams on how to align more, how to figure out this spiritual journey and path, and how to heal, basically, how to work on self mastery. And they are aligning to that in the physical world. They just, some of them just don't realize that that's what they're doing. They just don't realize. They don't see that they're changing. And I see that very often. They don't see that they're changing. And if you pay attention, it often happens this way. The ones that don't say anything, they are the ones that change the most. And the ones that are like bragging, oh, I've changed so much, are often the ones that change the least. And I say often, so don't get me wrong here. I'm not saying that it applies to everyone, but often. So that's the gap I was talking about. And that's really related to our self-awareness and being totally and brutally honest about who we are, how we feel, where we lack, where we need to cut down or level up, and about doing it. Not only talking about it, but doing it in a very authentic way. Because some people are very good at talking and never doing it. Some people are very good at talking and doing it halfway, thinking that that's all they need to do. And some people don't talk at all and do everything. Those are the ones that are usually the real leaders and are the ones that are the way showers. They don't really talk, they just do it. Anyway, I hope everybody is enjoying this journey, even though it's not easy at all. This full moon may hit hard for a lot of people, so be prepared for that, for some shedding and releasing, purging and healing, like really shedding, like letting go. So this may hurt. This may feel like, whoa, what the fuck is happening with me and my life right now? So just remember to surrender and let it go. That's it for now. If you would like to book a reading with me, you can do so using my email. And using my email is the best way to reach me at indigogirl555@gmail.com. You can visit my webpage at Indigo Girls Readings or my Instagram at indigogirl555@gmail.com. Enjoy the weekend that is coming in a few days. Happy Easter for the ones that are celebrating Easter. Thank you for being here. And until the next time, be well.